Hey, my tribe. This is Queen Amina Black Love coming at you with a review for Lifetime's Married at First Sight. This is season 12, episode number 6, Defending Your Wife. Let's just start out with Virginia and Eric. We want to get right down into it, unpack, unload. This was a messy episode, a lot to talk about. But as far as their relationship, the relationship goes between Virginia and Eric. They showed this scene where he's sitting in the bed telling her, you can have whatever you desire always. He's saying he's on cloud 9, but by what means is he on cloud 9? He's seems to be, hitting the bottle a lot. And it seems to be, something a little more than the bottle, from the way he looked in some of these scenes that they showed. He was clearly impaired is a nice word that I'll use for it. But that couple is still dealing with the fact that, she wants to drink Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Partying is her thing. Eric is still saying he's traditional. He doesn't want to, deal with that type of thing. There's no way he'll ever do that, along with the fact that he's saying she cannot have any male friends. So for them, this is going to be a point of contention. Do I think they'll make it work? Somehow, yes. Again, I bring up the fact that he travels. Eric travels extensively. He's a pilot. And he mentioned on this show, he also has to be careful of that type of perception of him because he is a pilot. So they've got a few things to work on. And of course, as always with them, it's that red flag. She's the party girl and he wants to, sort of be at home. He's at a different stage in life. But that's where we found them this week. Now, they've got some other stuff going on, too, with another couple that we'll get to later. But, they're still in the same spot. Do I still think they can work it out? Yes, I do. I don't think it's that great of a deal for them. Next, we're going to talk about Clara and Ryan. Now, as far as Clara's saying, she's blessed to have Ryan by her side. And, she's the one that falls in love all the time. And she's talking about how he checks off her every box. And she mentioned something about if he was made in a factory, he would pop out. If her perfect man was made in a factory, he would pop out. Some weird science type of stuff. But, we know that Ryan is a laid back, type of guy. Now, in the group setting, he was saying he's laid back, but he appreciates the fact that Clara asserts herself, and that he doesn't disagree with a lot of things she says. Now, this is what he said in a group setting. In the room, when they were in the bed, he sort of told Clara, you got to learn how to shut your mouth. To put it straight to the point, to the fact. He feels that he does feel she talks too much and says too much. And that probably came from the fact that, they were in other people's affairs, which we'll talk about later. Now, they had this little scene where the guys were shooting craps and the girls were mixing drinks. And, of course, they discussed everybody's relationship. And that's where I saw, people were saying opposite, as they talked with each other. And then when they got alone, it came up. The real came out when they got with their partner and talked about, issues that may be going on in the relationship. Again, here, Eric was obviously, I'm going to use the word impaired. And, he just could barely keep his eyes open. And so, of course, Chris, he doesn't want to talk about how things are going with him and Paige in their relationship, but he wants to find out from the guys who's did the deed. And of course, some people, are mentioning it. Others aren't so freely, talking about what's happening in the bedroom. And so there was a little part in this little get together where somehow Eric felt that he had to tell Chris he needs to man up, and of course, Chris didn't take that easy. He didn't like that. So he felt like Eric was disrespecting him. And that's just the lead up to what's going to happen later on in this episode, which we'll get to. So now let's talk about Vincent and Brianna. They're all saying all is well, but she's bossy. She's saying all is well, but he gets dressed too slow. Vincent sort of led to or heeded to or that she needs to be more patient with him. And, he doesn't like to be rushed. He don't care who you are. You're not going to rush him. So they had, those little points of contention because he felt like she disrespected him. And they, had a conversation and talked about it, and she's willing to adjust. But, they did mention when she spoke with his cousins that Vincent, had a little temper. So they talked about, oh, no, you don't want me to blow up. No, you don't want me to blow up. But he said before, he's nice and sweet. But now he's kind of admitting, that you can't push him too far. So that came up a couple times with them about him feeling like she disrespected him. So they, had a little talk and talked it out. And I just feel as long as they can talk it out, they can work it out. And as y'all know, that's my favorite couple. So we won't say anything bad about them. They're going to make it. We're just going to leave it there. They'll be okay. Haley and Jacob now. Haley, is a social person, and Jacob is nowhere near ready to become social. So, and these group settings, he didn't mention anything about them consummating their marriage, but Haley told, and she said that's all she had to say. We did it. He's my husband, might as well. So, they showed her on one part of this episode saying she liked him. She was beginning to like him. And then the next scene, it was Jacob asking her why she's so distant. And he sort of alluded to she became distant after they got intimate. So I don't know. You lay that wherever you want. Maybe he wasn't laying down something like he should have been. And later on in the episode, she lied to Jacob and told him that I think it was a girls' night. Jacob happened to come downstairs and see her and all the rest of the couples there. So she clearly did not want him there, and she did not want to be bothered with him. And I'll just say the same thing I've been saying about them the whole time. Awkward. It's still very awkward. He told her, she said something's missing, and he said, yeah, you. So anyway, at that couple, I don't think we'll make it, but we'll watch to see how it goes because, next week they're going to be home. They're going to be back, so to speak, in the real world, in their own environment. And so we'll see how that goes. Okay, last but certainly not least, Paige and Chris. Oh, my God. They showed Paige saying that she's trying to emotionally recharge herself. And by God, bless her soul, she's still hoping to see things turn around. She wants to honor her marriage at all costs. So they cut to this scene where Chris is telling her he appreciates how she handled the situation with Grace. And they started talking about, navigating life after they move on and move in with each other. And Chris says he doesn't want any joint bank accounts. No joint bank accounts, he says. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I think he's probably doing her a favor because I wouldn't trust him like that anyway. You can't trust him with too much, so why would you trust him about that? And then they were talking about, of course, we're going to say ex-fiance. I'm going to say she's still his fiance. They're still together. I don't care what he says. They started talking about her, and he wanted to talk about how he didn't want another man raising his baby, his child. So he's entertaining getting back with her, and he even admitted to her that he still loves her. Okay, so when he said that, Paige was done. Oh, I'm done. She jumped up and ran out. Or is she? Oh, of course not. So they started talking again. And he was telling her how he's spiritually attracted to her and how he, and she's saying she believes in them and that she wants to fight for their relationship. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Somebody please release her. God, the Holy Spirit, she said you talk to her. Please talk to her. She needs talking to you. She needs to talk to you seriously. So then we cut to this little group date where they were out on the ATVs and somehow Virginia and Claire wanted to have a talk with Chris about their relationship. And of course he blew up, stay out of my business, mind your own business. I don't want your fake concern. And, just back off, leave us alone, which he had already told them prior to. So I must say, I don't completely disagree with Chris. If he's told you, I don't want you in my business, stay out of my business. So that wasn't good enough. Later on in another scene, they were standing there talking to Paige, all of them. And he was like, get away from my wife. I've already told y'all, stay in my business. So, that just sort of led up to the dinner scene where Eric felt he wanted to come step to Chris and tell him, you can't talk to my wife like that. And of course, Chris blew up, jumped up, ready to fight, ready to flip tables. And Vincent, sort of had to push him back and stop him. Now, I think that went a little far, but I think it was agitated enough where we can't blame Chris, who is known as the resident jackass, totally for that. Him and Virginia had their part in it. So we want to see next time what happens. It's getting wild. They're going to be back home, so it's going to be major stuff going down. As always, get in the comments. Tell me what y'all think. What did my critique do for you? Do you think there's something different that should have been said or you don't agree with? Get down in the comments and let me know. As always, this has been Queen Amina Black Love. Thank you so much for supporting me and watching my channel. Go out and subscribe, like my videos, share my videos. Until next time, much love and peace to your day. Bye-bye.